Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Crystal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all back with us for another episode of this here podcast. Now, we got a lot of stuff to get into today. But before we do, y'all know how I got to start this show. Crystal, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. It's been a long couple weeks, honestly, with the ending of the show and then coming back. I haven't really been able to just like relax. Because as soon as I came home, it was kind of like I hit the ground running because, me and my mom are going on vacation in a couple months. And so I had to get the whole real ID thing because she was freaking out about that.
Yeah.
And we had to book our tickets. My luggage that I took with me to Greensboro is all fucked up. So I had to get new luggage. My passport was expiring in August and I didn't know this.
Okay.
But apparently there are some places where your passport can't be expiring within 6 months of your destination or whatever.
Yeah, some places are real strict like that.
Yeah, and while the place we're going isn't like that, they also say there's airlines that are strict like that. And I couldn't find anywhere on my airline's website that said yes or no either way. So my mom is a very, very nervous flyer. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and renew this airport or this passport now. So I had to be in the process of doing that.
Yeah, I think it's best to do it about 6 months before your stuff run out. Start that process because you never know how long it's going to take. Like sometimes it'll be real fast. You never know, something might happen. It might get lost in the mail somewhere. Then you SOL. Like it's good to do it months and months and months before you need it.
Yeah, it says on the website, it says typically it takes 4 to 6 weeks, but you can expedite it so that you get it in 2 to 3 weeks. And I might just do that just to be safe. I would be fine if it took 4 or 6 weeks, but like I said, just to be safe, I'll probably expedite it so I get it within the 2 to 3 weeks. And then, I had my day today especially was eventful because I had court today.
That's right. Yeah.
So I had to go to court because me and my mom, we took this class to do the concealed permit license thing or whatever. And in order to get it, you have to have a background check. And my background check came up with a little flag. And so they denied me. And they said that in order to repeal it, you had to go to court to explain the situation. So you get a little paper in the mail that tells you what the issue is. But unfortunately for me, I've heard of people saying, oh, my handwriting shit, it's chicken scratch, you can't understand it. But I've never really had a problem. Usually I'm able to make out. When I say this person literally looked like they just wrote lines, I don't know if it was supposed to be cursive or print or whatever, but I could not make out a single word. And the only reason why I was kind of able to figure out maybe what it might be is just because off of the address and the date. It had it when I had just turned 16 and it was at this house, but I had never been to that house. However, it was across the street from this big church. And I do remember when I was young and in school, although I couldn't tell you my age until I had looked at that date, I did get caught skipping school one day. And so that's the only thing I could think of. But I'm like, that can't be it. Skipping school, really? But at the same time, I've never done anything else. So today was a court date. I had gotten in the mail a little paper that told me what courthouse to go to and what time. And I get there and I've never done this before. I don't go to court often or anything like that. So I get there and I go upstairs and I go to the court room that I'm supposed to. And I'm the only one in there other than the bailiff and the clerks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. And then a bunch of lawyers come in, some police officers come in, they all sit in their pews. And then a guy in an orange jumpsuit comes in and I'm sitting here like,
girl, you in the wrong courtroom.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, am I in the wrong courtroom? So the thing is supposed to start at 9 and it's 10 minutes till. So I'm like, okay, let me go check. Let me go see if there's a way that I'm supposed to switch courtrooms or something. So I go outside and I see a little television screen that I didn't really notice before that had a bunch of names on it. And it shows you what they're here for and what courtroom they're supposed to be in. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, they get to the end and I'm looking for my last name and I'm like, oh, okay, no, I'm not up there. And so I'm kind of looking around like, well, who do I talk to? And one lady was like, oh, you look a little lost. I was like, my name's not up there, but this paper says, for today at this time in the courtroom down there. She was like, I would just do what the paper says. Like, if anything, you have that paper, like, just go to that courtroom and sit in there. I was like, all right. So I go in there and I sit in there and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm just going to be sitting here for a while. So like everyone has a lawyer. I'm the only one who's like doesn't have representation because like I said, I'm not thinking anything of this. And so everyone's lawyers are talking to their people and they're confirming things and everything like that. So you have the one prosecutor lady and then you have the various lawyers who are coming up with their client. So the guy in the orange jumpsuit, he comes up, he's first up, a judge comes through. It is not the judge that is on my paper. So I'm just like, okay. I feel like I'm intruding. Like I'm listening to this conversation and him trying to make his plea. So I see
here you're wanted for 3 counts of first-degree murder.
Right. I'm just
assault
like...
and battery and threats with a deadly weapon.
Right. It wasn't that serious. I think maybe he scammed someone or something. I don't know. I think he owed like $65,000 or something like that. And he was saying that he needed to get out of jail so that he could go work and make this money. He had a job lined up and everything. And that's what his lawyer was pleading. Like, as long as he's in jail, he's not going to be able to pay back his victims because he's not working. And so the judge was just like, yeah, I don't really find him trustworthy. So denied. And he gets up and leaves. And I'm just like, ugh. And like the man's like family is there. And I'm just like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Like, this seems awkward. So he leaves. And then another lawyer goes up and their person isn't here, but they plead their case. That ends. It's all very quick. And then 2 more people get up there. They both back to back were just praised for their community service work and for being on the right path. And mind you, after that first guy left and the judge left, another judge came in. And that's when I was like, I heard his name and that's the name that was on my paper. I was like, okay. So this was the first time where I was like, okay, I think I am in the right courtroom. And he was much nicer. Much nicer.
Okay.
I know. I was like, that first judge, I was like, no, hope he doesn't. I don't want him.
Right.
So, but he was much nicer. So those 2 get finished. And then the prosecutor later's like looking around and the like clerk or whatever is like, do you have anything else? And she was like, well, I do have this one. I don't know if they're here. And then she calls my last name and I'm like, oh, me. Like raising my hand. And they're all like, oh, okay, come up here. And I'm like, okay. So I get up there and the judge is like, oh, okay. He explains, when you try to do these classes, it goes to the sheriff if it's not completely clean. He was like, then it comes to me. He was like, and I just had questions about it. Do you know what this? And he said something about a legacy data or something like that. And I was like, no. And he was like, okay. And then he looks at the prosecutor later. He was like, do you know what it's about? And she was like, well, we had to do some digging, but what we were able to find is that it's related to truancy. And I'm thinking, no. So this is about me skipping school. And the judge just kind of looks at her and just kind of like laughs a little and is just like, and then he looks at me and he's like, well, I bet you didn't think that was going to be following you around after all these years.
Right.
No. He was like, okay. He was like, well, raise your right hand. And then I'm like, right. And as I'm figuring out, oh, yeah, this is my right. And then he does the whole, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but? I'm like, yeah. Or I'm sitting there with my hand raised and I'm like, and he's like, say yes. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I don't do this. I do not do this.
I ain't never been. I've never around these parts. I don't know.
I'm new to this. Okay.
Yeah.
So then he asked, he was like, what was the situation? And I told him, the story. And he was like, that's interesting. Usually when people skip school, they go to like the beach or something. They don't really go to a church parking lot and then fall asleep. And I was like, well, I just turned 16. I was like, my friend probably had his car for like maybe a month or 2. And I think we just didn't want to go to the one morning class. So it was right down the street. He was in the front seat. I was in the back and we were talking and I must have just fell asleep. But yeah, he was like, all right, well, you're approved. Your thing should be there by next week. And I was like, great.
Thank you so much. That's crazy.
It was an eventful day today.
Girl, I bet you had to go up there with hardcore. I'm weak. I am weak off of that fact alone. You had to go in there with hardcore criminals.
It
Just
was
to be called up there and be like, truancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was only like the one guy that was in the gym. So all the other people, they were like, so like they had come in dressed nicely and they just sat and waited to be called. But yeah, I was that very first case, especially. I was just like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Like, this seems personal.
Right. Damn, girl. Well, I'm glad that you got it cleared up. I'm glad you got it cleared up, and that's finished
done
and through. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you. Me too.
Thank goodness. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and afterwards we're gonna give y'all the song of the week, and we're actually gonna highlight somebody that left us a written review. We'll be right back, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, T here. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Listen, we need you to do us a solid. We need you to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Share what you love about this here podcast and help spread the word about this hidden gem. If you have any stories that you'd like to share with us, or anything that you would like for us to share on the show, please do so by sending it to our email, which is in the description for you below, or in any of our DMs on our various social media platforms. Now, let's get back to the show. And we are back. So, I got something good for y'all. Song of the week. Song of the week, if y'all don't know, is a new segment that we're doing. We're highlighting a song each week. We have a playlist that is, I think it's entitled T and Crystal 2025 Bops, that you can find on Spotify. The link for that is down in the description. I'll also leave the artist and the name of the song in case you have Apple Podcasts or something and you want to find it over there each week. Song this week, Dope Hot track off of Wiz Khalifa's new album, Kush and Orange Juice 2. I love Kush and Orange Juice 1. That is my favorite album by Wiz Khalifa. Back-to-back hits, non-stop, straight play through, no skips. Same thing with Kush and Orange Juice 2. Shout out to Wiz Khalifa. He did not disappoint with this album. I love this album. I have so many tracks on this album that I have saved to my favorites because it just hits like that. But one that is a good, we're getting close to the summer, y'all. We're getting close to the summer. People are dropping their tops. We eating ice cream on the lawn. We watching, we going out to the water and stuff. This song is perfect for on your way somewhere. It's, take your windows down. Feel the breeze between your titties. It is entitled What's Hannin by Wiz Khalifa. What's Happening? It's such a smooth riding song. Y'all are going to love it. Make sure you hit the link in the description. Go listen to What's Happening by Wiz Khalifa. Also, in the vein of the commercial that y'all just heard, in regards to leaving us written reviews, we also want 5 stars. Okay, don't forget about the stars, but we really love to see written reviews. We have one. A new one, and we want to share that with y'all. This person rated us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and they entitled it My Favorite, in all caps, podcast. And they said, I absolutely love this show. I love listening to it when I'm in the car or at work, and I, in all caps, adore the small talk portion of the show. Shout out to Crystal. Don't ever dare stop, because I live, in all caps, for Timmy going, Crystal, how are you, my friend? The fact that this podcast helped y'all keep your long distance friendship alive is so heartwarming to me. Never stop. And then they said, P.S. Okay, I thought they said between you and me. Anyway, I was like, let me read this. They said, P.S. between you and all the other creators reading Reddit stories, I've been inspired to develop a new type of content of my own. If and when I get it off the ground, I will 100% give you guys your props. So shout out. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the kind words. I'm glad that we can be your companions on your way to and from and or at work. and that we have inspired you in some way. You know, that is a unspoken goal of ours, to inspire others to do what they love and think critically. Okay. So that is very, very kind, Crystal.
Yes, we appreciate it so much. And definitely hit us up in the email. Let us know what your new content is. We'd love to support as well and give our shout outs where it's due. We really, really appreciate it. And if you would like to have one of your comments featured, please, as always, leave us a 5-star review and a written review, and you could be featured on the podcast as well.
Sure can. Now, Crystal, you ready to get into some other people's business?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
All right. My story comes from the Am I the Asshole thread, and the title is I figured this is a fun little story considering last week's episode. Anyways, the title is Am I the Asshole for admitting in front of all of my husband's friends that I've never had an orgasm?
Oh. Oh, I just had one. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, okay. I can't wait for this.
Recently was my husband's friend's birthday party. It was a bigger party and all of my husband's friends and their wives were there. No kids. One woman that I'm friendly with was annoyed with her husband and joked, "Men, if they didn't get us off, why would we keep them?" And she laughed. I awkwardly laughed, but I guess I looked uncomfortable. She asked me what was up, and she pointed out that I made a weird face. I said, I've just never had an orgasm before, so I guess I couldn't relate. Almost a dozen people looked at me when I said that. It was super awkward. The wife then awkwardly asked, "Is everything okay down there?" And I said, "Yeah, just have never had anyone try, I guess." For the next 10 minutes, all my husband's friends took turns insulting him in various ways. Many women talked about how they'd never be married to someone who didn't get the job done. My husband made us leave early. When we got home, he lectured me about how I humiliated him. I pointed out that she asked, and I have a tendency to be honest. He's been really upset the last several days, and he keeps saying he can't talk to his friends because they now think badly of him. Am I the asshole for being honest here? And before you get started, I do have an edit, but I'm going to wait for your initial response before I read that
edit. Oh my goodness. How do I approach this? I'm going to say you're not an asshole for being honest. Because that was the question, right? Am I the asshole for being honest?
Yes.
Okay, to that specific question, I'm going to say no. You're not the asshole for being honest. However, you are the asshole for being honest in front of all the people. Bitch, why would you do that? Why would you do that, man, like that? Like, come on. I mean, I get, in the moment, it's like, because I can relate to that. Sometimes, hey, ho. Pause. Hey. Let's not do that. Let's not.
Dang.
Listen
you
here.
Spilling a lot of tea on this podcast.
I won't even dignify that with a response. Because that's gonna invite too much inquiry into my personal life. Okay. So we're just gonna have to skip over that. Yeah. I can relate to it in the sense of not lying to the person on the spot. Like when you're put on the spot like that, I think my inclination is to be honest. Even when it comes to conflict and stuff, like if somebody gets the feeling that I don't like them, and if they were to ask me right then and there, like, do you have a problem with me? My answer will be yes. Because I'm not finna create this whole lie and keep up with it. It's not worth it. So maybe that's where she was at. So I see why she was honest. However, girl, on the second bounce, damn, you embarrassed that man. Like, that is something that you should have, for him, it's probably out of left field because y'all have honestly probably never had that conversation before based on his reaction and yours. So you maybe thought that this just wasn't a thing that all women did. Like, there are some women who have never climaxed, and they think that they can't do it, or there's something that other women experience that they don't get to experience. Damn, I really can't relate. But so it's hard because the husband has the right to feel some kind of way about it, because you should have told me, for the sake of us, you should have told me that I won't hit in the bottom. You should have told me that I'm down there just eating soup like the Beast was doing on Beauty and the Beast. You not hitting the clitoris at all. You just down there. You just down there doing things and making noise. Like, I'm not feeling none of this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
So I to her specific question, no, you're not the asshole for telling the truth, but it was fucked up that you did it in front of all them people.
So when I first read this story, I was with you on that. I was like, damn, like, come on now. My first inclination is to avoid confrontation. But the problem is that my face tends to give me away. So even if someone's like, oh, you got a problem with me? I'm like, no. Clearly I do. But I'm not trying. Exactly.
I can attest to this, friends.
So it's like, I feel like, you could have been like, I don't know, like, oh no, it's fine. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know who this person is. That they might just have that inclination like you, where they just say it. That two hit though, that second hit. Come on now, you could have,
girl.
But she did leave an edit, and once. Okay. Let me read the edit. So the edit says, I brought the issue up countless times in the past. He tells me that it's not important / not a big deal that he doesn't get me off. Since it's not that important, I just don't see why I have to hide it like it's some kind of dirty secret.
Hold on. Yeah. He said that it's not important that she get her nut.
Yeah.
Ma'am, okay. I'll take back everything I said. Girl, embarrass that man every chance you get. What you mean? Like, you think I'm just supposed to be a receptacle for your good times? Like, you think my vagina is just here to kick? See, I can't get too graphic. I be forgetting we on YouTube sometimes. Yeah. Maybe this is why we're not in the affiliate program yet.
Right.
Okay. They're like, they got to watch their mouths. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he is out his fucking mind. Girl, not everybody looks at it that way. Not everybody looks at it that way. Because some men really do treat sex as what do I get out of it? And that's it type of situation, where you have other people that look at it as in part of the fun for real is making sure that we get where we got to go. You know what I'm saying? If I got to slow the tempo, you know what I'm saying? I got to slow the tempo, make sure, we both, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't trying to leave you at the 40-yard mark, you know what I'm saying, before the finish line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for him to have that type of response, bitch, you may want to, all right, you may need a hall pass. Yeah. You may need to see what you're missing. Because if you've never in your life, if you've been unlucky enough to every partner you've been, because I mean, sometimes some people it's more difficult for than others. Well, but there's somebody out there that's finna put that code in, bitch, and unlock a whole new world. Like, it's out there.
And we don't know their relationship. I mean, this could be the only person she's ever been with, if they got married young, true. Or if they're in some sort of arranged marriage situation where he's the only one. True. But what is very telling is his response to the situation. Yeah. If he's someone who truly believes it doesn't matter if you get off on it, why is he so embarrassed that it's being shown that you don't get your wife off? You don't believe in that.
No, that's the dangerous part, though. The fact that you don't care about me at all.
Right.
but you caring about the like you know it's wrong. Like you're acknowledging,
exactly.
Like you're trying to tend to your ego by saying, "Oh, it don't matter that you don't get no nut." Like you're trying to justify this to yourself. This isn't about me necessarily. This is what you need to tell yourself when your homeboys are looking at you over nut over lunch. Looking at you over lunch, calling you No Nut McGee behind your back. You know what I'm saying? And now, low key, them men, you might want to watch the men around your wife. Now listen, men move very weird. Men move very weird sometimes. They learn shit like that about you and they see that as an opportunity. I'm just, ladies, y'all done seen it. Men are weird sometimes. And sometimes they'll get that winkle and they be like, I want to give her what she missing. And that'll be your good homeboy at the job. Next thing you know, your wife ankles is touching the back of her head and he digging her out. And now she can't look you in the eye at dinner no more because now she didn't discover what an orgasm is. Because Frank came over and gave her one. Like, is that really what, you know what I'm saying? I think y'all just need to, don't talk to them people no more. If you want to save your marriage, throw all the friends away. Start over. Yeah. Okay? Because them people ain't never going to look at y'all the same. I wouldn't be looking at y'all the same anyway because why are we talking about nothing at the table? Like, I'm like, oh, it's getting weird in here. I'm not coming back over here no more. You know how I am, Crystal, with energies and all that different type of stuff. Yeah. Like once shit starts shifting, let me get my bag.
Speaking of like men's advice and stuff like that, did you see our Facebook post? Like one of our sneak peek videos? Where the one where you were giving the advice, I think it was like, men think they're the catch, and that portion of the video I had stitched into a little clip. Well, it got a little bit of traction. There's a couple of people on there that commented. They're all men, and you can imagine what they had to say. They was
mad at me.
They was mad at you.
Fuck y'all.
I know.
Y'all know it's true.
I looked at all these comments because you can imagine like some of the comments they said, and I'll tell you off screen or something like that. But anyone who wants to see it, like you can go to our Facebook page and find the video in the comments. We don't really delete comments or anything like that. I finally I didn't even bother responding to any of them. I just left a general like laughing emoji and said, y'all are so funny because they were the butt hurtness of their comments.
Listen, and see, that's why I don't
it's amusing.
Be looking at stuff because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But it and that's what it is. It's the butt hurting because I know if I go on this Facebook right now and I start sharing y'all profile pictures, we're finna have a good time with y'all. Yeah. Okay? Because I know that y'all look like the underside of a tractor trailer. Okay? I know it. I don't even have to go look at it, and I will never look at it. I don't even go look, and I know what y'all look like. And ain't nobody knocking down y'all door. Not now, not before, not ever. Okay, I stand by what the fuck I said.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Girl.
Okay.
And look, y'all saw me in real time. Y'all know when I tell y'all I don't be down in them comments, I mean it because I just learned that today. Moving on. Krista, you ready to get into this? Because I feel like this is a jumping off point.
Okay.
For a deeper conversation that we're gonna have. So this one comes to us from r/relationship advice, and it says, my daughter, 18-year-old female, is dating a 51-year-old male now for 2 months. How do I deal with this as a parent? Yeah. Disgust. Exactly. So she says, hello, I've debated posting about this for the world to see, but I don't really know who to talk to about this situation. My teenage daughter, 18, has found herself a boyfriend who is 51. My husband and I do not support this at all, to the point where she moved out and is now living with him. He is older than the both of us, and we are worried for her, but she and local authorities say that it's none of our business now. Has anyone ever experienced this? How do you deal with this? On top of being an empty nester now, the way this all came to be was so sporadic and bizarre. I'm very depressed and I just don't know how to accept this. It's been 2 months since she left. Help, thoughts, advice, literally anything you can tell me about this would be greatly appreciated. And she also said that no one in her inner family knows about it because she's afraid to tell them.
Unfortunately, it's true. She's 18 years old. She's an adult. She doesn't need your permission for this stuff anymore. And while I understand wanting to protect her from what is obviously a predator, like obviously, there gets to be a certain age where you don't get to protect your kids the way you want to anymore. And unfortunately for some kids, they're going to have to learn lessons the hard way, because the more you try to hold on and protect them, the more they're going to want to rebel.
Say it.
And it sucks. It does suck. You don't want to see your kids get hurt. But when they hit that 18-year mark, the law says they're an adult and they can do whatever they want. And unfortunately, that's the case here. You're just going to have to step back and just let her know that if anything happens and she needs help or she needs a place to stay, that you're there. She doesn't have to feel embarrassed if it fails or if it doesn't work out. Like, just let her know you're there for her. And that's all you can do. I'm not saying you have to like the guy. I'm not saying you have to have him over for dinner. That is entirely up to you, how much of your life this man has access to. But as long as you tell your daughter that you're there for her and let her know you're always there for her, that's really all you can do. Yeah, I mean, it is embarrassing, but it's like, that's not an embarrassment on you. You didn't do that. And, I'm
with you. I'm with you. It is difficult because, as you say, she's an adult. Mm-hmm. She gets to do what she wants to do. I would be laying in the bed at night, 3:00 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, because I would want to go over there and get my child every chance I get. Because what you mean, you older than me, dating my 18-year-old? Like, how did y'all meet? Like, I have so many questions. Have you been watching her? You a predator or something? Like, is she gonna try to leave you and you gonna kill the bitch? Kill my child? Yeah. Is what I meant to say. Because she wants to leave you. Like, there's something going on up here. There's something going on up here. It's some sick shit, because this, like, what you mean you 51 years old with my 18-year-old baby? This is a baby deal. I can't even think about at the age I am now, having to date somebody in their early 20s. There ain't nothing. I mean, girl, mid-20s. There ain't nothing I can talk to you about. We don't relate on any level at all. And I'm not trying to teach you shit about life. I'm not. I don't have the patience. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with the learning process. Like, it's too much. It ain't, that snapback ain't worth it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Yeah. I think you gave great advice in the vein of be there for her. Let her know, hey, we ain't with the shit. I'm gonna be upfront. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not with it. If it's a wedding or something, I don't know if I'm gonna be there, because I can't condone it. However, if you ever need me, if you need anything from me, I'm there 100% of the time. Call me anytime, baby. I just don't want nothing to do with that. Yeah. Don't bring me in that, because that ain't. Yeah. Age ain't nothing but a number, but this shit ain't. It's a lot of context about life that you don't have yet, so you don't see how creepy this is.
And if you want an example of it, I mean, we saw it happen in Hollywood, not too long ago. It wasn't too long ago, that girl, Courtney Stroden or something like that. She was 16 years old, and her her mom or something like that gave her permission to marry that 51-year-old washed up actor or whatever. And you hear her talk about it now and how badly it affected her, you know? I mean, that's really all you can do. At the end of the day, you're in a precarious situation because this man, I'm at his big age, probably has a lot of influence over your daughter right now. And it's very easy for him to paint you guys as the bad guys as long as you act that way in her eyes. If you're rebellious to her, if you're angry at her, if you're yelling at her and trying to control her and all that stuff, while you guys as parents aren't looking at it as protectiveness, she's probably only going to see it as you're the villain. You don't want me to be happy. You just want to control me, yada, yada, yada. Which is why I'm saying, unfortunately, you got, you know, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of things you're going to have to suck up and keep quiet about if you want to keep her in your life, or at the very least, you want her to, when things go wrong, to still turn to you, because it's very easy for these people to manipulate the younger people to not having any friends, not having any family, becoming dependent solely on them. You know, those are the red flags that you will probably recognize that she will not. So as hard as it is, you just really got to make sure that, you know, you just let her know that you're there for her. You know, you don't support it. You don't want to be involved in it necessarily, you know, however you want to do that portion of it. But like at the end of the day, you need to really ingrain in her that if anything goes wrong, if she's upset, if she's hurt, she can come to you, because that's really where it's going to make or break it. In that regard.
Truly. Well, thank you for your word on that, Crystal. We are going to move on to the middle section. And actually, in the middle section, it's kind of going to be an extension of this conversation in a way. So we're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back, y'all. And we're back. So, Crystal, as I said, continuing from that conversation, we're going to have celebrity nuggets.
Ooh.
Yes. And we're going to start off a little heavy in the celebrity nuggets, because I feel like the last story really highlights what's happening in this next story. So I know you all have heard probably by now about the Shannon Sharpe situation. If you don't know who Shannon Sharpe is a ESPN host, and he is also a podcaster / YouTuber, ex-football player, very popular football player, who has gained a lot of notoriety in the past few years from his show on YouTube and his podcast, and his time on ESPN. So I think it was either a year or two ago, Shannon Sharpe had a scandal where his Instagram went live in the middle of a heated fellowship with his Michelle, as he called her, his Michelle. So recently, I think it was end of April, story came out that a young lady is suing Shannon Sharpe for around $50 million for alleged rape and sexual assault. One of the sticking points in this story is that I believe Shannon was in his early 50s and she was 19 when their affair, their relationship, if that's what you want to call it, began. From what I understand, the young lady is a OnlyFans creator, and I believe I from what I have read, the relationship started with them meeting at the gym. So I don't know if he knew that she was an OnlyFans creator, like he had seen her stuff and that's how he approached her, or if he had seen her at the gym and was like, let me try to figure out who this is. You know who it is? And they be like, well, you know, she got an OnlyFans. And he went and saw the product and was like, I want to taste. Allegedly, there was an extended relationship. I believe it was over the course of 2 years, I think, including this year, where they had relations and it seemed to be of a sexual nature, and explicitly sexual nature. I think Shannon alleges that there was some physical aspect to their relationship in the form of rough fellowship. I don't know what I can say on you.
Yeah,
I'm
that
trying
sounds
to,
about right.
speak around it, but she alleges that he became more possessive as the relationship progressed, and it eventually led to two incidents. I don't know if they were both rape. I don't know if one was sexual assault and one was rape, but the incidents took place in October of last year and January of this year. She has released audio of Shannon Sharpe not admitting to anything, but saying things that do make him look like he was possessive. His claim is that was the nature of their relationship. It was almost like a role playing kind of thing. And he denies any claims of sexual assault and rape. And he has stepped away temporarily from ESPN in the interim of what is going on. But he does say that he's coming back preseason for football, which is in just a couple months. There is an allegation out there. I couldn't find anything to substantiate it, but there is an allegation out there that there was a $10 million settlement that almost came to fruition until the young lady turned it down and subsequently sued for $50 million. That's all I have at this time. All of this is alleged. Don't come suing me, ESPN and Shannon Sharpe. I'm just giving y'all what I read. Sue NBC. So, Crystal, what do you think about this whole situation? Because I know you've probably heard about it.
Yeah, I vaguely seen his name in the news, but I hadn't read like what it was for or anything like that. Unfortunately, I don't know the details like you said, so I haven't heard this audio or anything like that. But regardless, it's gonna come down to a he said she said situation. If all she has is an audio of him being possessive, it's not surprising with that kind of age gap. And unfortunately, people in that position, they think they're entitled to certain things. And it's not even that position. Even when you get into a relationship, if it lasts long enough, people think they're entitled to this person that might have originally been into it, but when you start to show your true colors and they're not into that anymore, you don't get to keep them,
Right.
You're not entitled to them. It's a sad situation all the way around. I feel for the lady and I hope she's getting help in therapy. And, but at the same time, it is a he said, she said. I'm interested to see if they're going to settle or if this actually goes to court and how it relates back.
Yeah, there is. Shannon Sharpe mentioned, I think, in his initial response that there is a video that he was told was going to be released by her team. I believe it was her legal team. And he said that he was saying that he's aware of the contents of the video and that the video that he was told about is much shorter than the original. And he says that, it could be taken out of context without the full video being released. So to me, not to me, the conversation that has been happening online is that, and these kind of things always come up. I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm just reporting what is out there. Saying, oh, she's an OnlyFans girl. She's trying to come up off of him. She saw her opportunity because of the nature of the relationship, of that possessiveness and stuff. Allegedly from him, that was their kink. sort of thing, you know? Yeah. And now she's kind of turning it to make it seem like he was abusing her. And that she did not want his advances. So like you highlighted, it really is going to turn into a he said, she said situation. I just hope, because he too released text messages and stuff of her saying some really explicit things that I can't repeat here because I don't want this video getting taken down. Yeah. But it was some very, very explicit things. And it does play into the theory of, well, this is what your relationship was. But that doesn't excuse the fact if she didn't want that to be the nature of the relationship anymore, that you should force that. Yeah. You know? So I think that's where the gray area in the case is going to come in, where that consent disappeared. And how he can prove that she was actually consenting to these things, you know?
Yeah. And it goes both ways. Because, I mean, you know, being an OnlyFans, being a sex worker or whatever, that doesn't mean this person is open 24/7 to whoever wants it or whoever can get to it. That's a job for them. Sex is work. They don't see it the same way some people see it. And you may not like it. You may think it's derogatory and you may have all these feelings about it. But at the end of the day, you are not entitled to anybody. If they said no, it's no. That's consent right there. I don't care if you're in the middle of it. If they're saying no, you stop. Like, and that's where some people seem to have a hard understanding of that. Like, can they or is it or whatever. But at the same time, like, I'm not saying that this couldn't be her twisting it and trying to find her cash out or whatever. Unfortunately, you know, like we've said, it is a he said, she said situation. But regardless of text message they would have had when they were consenting it, because neither one of them are negating that this was a consensual situation at one point. So yeah, I'm sure she's probably said a lot of filthy things to him and he's probably said it in return. And I can't say for certain that this was a kink for them because, you know, we don't know the nature of the relationship, regardless of what text message or anything like that says, you know, so this just could be a way for him to spin it as well. We're as the public are not going to know. And unless we get a Cassie like video, you know, where he's very obviously doing something that he shouldn't be doing. Because, you know, let's not forget when P. Diddy's allegations were coming out and people, you know, Cassie first brought her situation up, you know, people didn't want to believe that, you know, they just wanted to say, oh, they're just trying to bring this man down. And then that video comes out of him in the hotel room knocking her around. And then it's like, see?
Boom. Right.
There it is. But, you know, I understand that some people don't want to have to jump to conclusions. And, you know, he is due his day in court. So whatever they decide, I'm interested to see the outcome of it. For sure.
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing about these civil cases. You don't really, in a civil case, there isn't a burden of the threshold for proving that a thing did or did not happen is lower in a civil case than it is, you know, in a criminal case. The element of reasonable doubt is less in a civil case. So that's why a lot of times you'll see that people that get off with, you know, murder, a la O.J. Simpson, will have to end up, you know, turn around and get sued for in a civil case, end up having to pay restitution to the families and stuff, being found guilty civilly, which is so crazy to me. Yeah. Like you could be found innocent, you know, in a criminal case, but found liable. Donald Trump, have to pay somebody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think if it goes forward, and I think the reason that she's pushing for it to go forward is I think she's gonna win. I think it's if it is a situation where things are kind of getting twisted and stuff, And if that's the case, I will feel bad for Shannon Sharpe, because you really have to be careful with the people that you lay up with, especially when you have notoriety and means. But if it is the way that this young lady is laying it out to be, then I hope she get every single penny that she's looking for.
Because this is a prime, and if this is what another reason why I'm like, it's like these big age gap that these people, there's so much influence one way or even the other, and it can just be a really monstrous situation. It might work out for some people, but for a lot of people, it can turn into a very monstrous situation real quick. So people just need to be really, really cautious, because you just don't know people, period.
Yeah. When in doubt, lean on the Pope. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Pope.
We do.
Yes, Pope Leo XIV. Literally, but at the time of recording, it was yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. I was washing dishes and I got an alert. The smoke is white. I was like, oh my God. And we ended up sitting down and watching when he came onto the balcony and everything. And we having for the first time in 2,000 years of this tradition, we have, because I mean, the United States has only been around for a fraction of that. But we have a Pope from the United States of America. I was shocked. My jaw literally dropped. Yeah. Because they had to translate it. Yep. So when they translated it, I was like, oh, what? Like I didn't expect it. Yeah. I didn't expect it at all. I won't get into the implications of it on this show, because it's not this type of show, but there are a lot of implications with us having the first American Pope at this moment in time. It's a lot to consider there, but
I do find it funny that when they were letting us know that he was from America, that at least on our station, they quoted saying that he was considered the least American Pope of the Americans.
They were saying that on the one we were watching too.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, okay. Because at the end of the day, while he is from Chicago and everything like that, he's spent a lot of time in, was it Peru or something like that? Yeah. That was a big highlight for them. And while he's kept a lot of things to his chest, close to his chest, about certain issues, hot button issues, past, I guess, tweets have come up in terms of where he may sway in some of these hot button issues. But I do want to remind people as well, before anyone's celebrating or crying or whatever, someone on our news station said it best, actually, that how someone is as a cardinal doesn't necessarily mean that will translate to who they are as a pope.
No, that is true.
These are the beginning days. He's going to have hopefully, a long term. I mean, he's, 69 or something like that.
Yeah, 69, turning 70 this year.
Turning 70. So, we have a long time before we really hear any of these hot button issues and where he sways one way or the other. I know for those who are deeply religious, that's going to be a really big thing. For those of us who are not, hey, we got a new pope.
Right. Well,
good luck.
Y'all got a new pope.
Yeah.
We don't,
I don't really know.
The rosaries and stuff. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it here on the show because we run a low on time. But if y'all want some good entertainment, go on Twitter, look up the Pope, and tweets. There's a whole thing about his past and recent tweets that is happening right now, where a certain segment of the American population is pissed. Yes. And it's quite entertaining. Last thing, we're going to get on to the rest of the show. Met Gala. Met Gala happened, I believe it was last weekend. Lots of good looks. The theme was dandyism, tailoring specifically of black men's suits during that period of fashion. A couple of things I want to highlight and a couple of people I want to highlight. But before I do, Crystal, did you see anything about the Met Gala?
A little bit, like I said, stuff like that I don't really pay attention to anymore. I might go through some of the pictures. I will say someone who I was really surprised by their look and I actually really liked was Joey King, I think her name is. She had this like green
let me look this up.
Green suit on or whatever. And you know, she's gotten made fun of in the past for facial expressions she's made, you know, with the little slow cam and all that stuff. But she looked amazing that night.
Phenomenal.
She did.
When I say homegirl was fly.
She was not someone I was expecting, and she knocked it out of the park. Like, good for her. Yeah. So
she is one of my personal, like, I want the male version of that suit. Like, it was that good.
Yeah, I really liked how she pulled it off, how it was tailored for her, just the whole look of it. It looked
from the
so
hair,
good.
everything. Like, every detail was there. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, because she was not on my list, but she is absolutely one of my top for the evening. Couple of exciting things, a little drama here and there. We'll start off with the exciting stuff. Rihanna debuted her pregnancy at the Met Gala. In addition to looking, Rihanna,
beautiful.
They say Blake Lively is the queen of the Met. She gonna have to get in the ring and box Rihanna for that.
I was about to say, I don't know about that, but okay.
I say the same thing when everybody talks about Blake Lively. Like, she be putting on a gown, yeah, but
right,
it ain't nothing spectacular. I don't get it, but they be giving her tens every single time. And
okay,
personally, I don't know why. Rihanna does it every single time. She skips galas and galas, and then she comes and it's her night.
Yes,
every single time. Pregnant and all, she looks so.
She did.
She looks so goddamn good. So congratulations to Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, who looked a fucking mess. Like, how you gonna be standing beside her with this? And you're one of the co-chair. Anyway, he pissed me off because A$AP is fly. Literally has a song called Fashion Killer, which is one of my favorite songs ever. And you come to the Met Gala on your night dressed like that? Okay. Zendaya. Zendaya looked amazing.
Yes.
Looked like ivory on the carpet. The best tailored outfit, in my opinion. As simple as it was, the best tailored outfit of the night.
Yeah, her and the other girl.
Yeah, but Zendaya's was a notch above, in my opinion, just because of the way it was tailored, especially around her waist, her chest, her upper chest, and on her thighs. Like, the way it was tailored on her thighs to the flare out, that was precision. Like, look, it was so good.
I don't think there has been a single event that Zendaya has done that she has not killed it at. This girl is beautiful, and the way she wears clothes just in general, because there's been some things that I've seen her in and I'm like, she is the only one that can probably pull that off, to be honest.
Right,
she is just made to wear clothes, and she's just gorgeous. But yeah, I did see that interview with her designer, saw the other girl show up. And I just thought that was so funny. It was cute. But they both look good in their own way. Yeah.
Yes, because they weren't the same suit.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the same.
Yeah, it was the same silhouette, same color, but it wasn't the same suit. And I heard someone else that was talking about it said that when you look at the picture side by side, it looks like what I ordered versus what I got. and now I can't unsee that. I can't unsee it because The execution
Come on now.
It's a notch above.
It is, but it's not like this girl came in like a Shein looking one. Not at all, because you would be like, that's what you're hoping for when you get a what I order versus what I got. That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah. But for it to be so simple, it was like, okay. Because Zendaya barely got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
She barely got away with it because it was just really, 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 really simple. Mm-hmm. But it was the details that brought it over the top. Mm-hmm. Homegirl, you're just in a white suit.
Yeah.
You could have wore this to a lesbian wedding and we wouldn't have known the difference. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because the lesbians love a pantsuit. Otherwise, just a few people that I want to highlight that did a phenomenal job. I'll go to this list very quickly because we're running out of time. Janelle freaking Monáe won the entire night for me. Mm-hmm. From the moment that I saw that I don't even know if you want to call it an overcoat or whatever it was, that was so cool. Mm-hmm. She was already winning the night for me with the hat tilted with the monocle and all that stuff. When they peeled that off and the gown was under it, that was on the overcoat with the bag, she was carrying the bag the whole time. Janelle Monáe does it for me every time. Mm-hmm. Her, Rihanna, they're always top 5, mm-hmm. top 3 for me every single time they attend. Diana Ross, mm-hmm. her and Megan Thee Stallion had similar outfits on. Diana Ross's was to the stars above what Megan Thee Stallion had on. She had her family's names embroidered on the cape. Diana Ross, I think they said that she hadn't been there in 30 some years or something crazy. She came and shut the shit down. Cardi B, that green, mm-hmm. chef's kiss, the asymmetrical hair, sensational. Lewis Hamilton, I just found out he's a Formula 1 F1 driver. I didn't know who the young man was. I just knew that he was very fly. I like the beret. Kay Trinata, who I mentioned on the last mm-hmm. podcast, so good, unexpected. I didn't know he was going to be there. Very, very good. Whoopi Goldberg. Oh my God. I love that woman.
Yeah.
I love that woman so much. And she just looks so goddamn good. And she had these finger caps on. And she said the reason that she had the finger caps on is because she didn't take off the polish from the last time that she had to dress up and she didn't have time to get a manicure. So there were some designers there that she talked to about it, and they bought them there for her to wear on the carpet so she wouldn't have her gnarled fingers out. I thought that was really cute. Tiana Taylor mm-hmm. with the do-rag. Oh, so good. So mm-hmm. good. And Jodie Turner-Smith. Oh, she looked like she was straight out of Willy Wonka, but in the best way possible. Those are my highlights. That is your Celebrity Nuggets for this week. Thank you all so much for indulging in that.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a good time. Now, Crystal, you got something for us? You may have to close out the show with this one, girl.
That's what it sounds like. I did not realize we were running out of time. I'm just having a good time.
We are. I love these episodes when we just be... chit-chatting and whatever. And then we look up and we be like, damn, girl, it's the end of the show.
It's the end of the show. We gotta go. Okay. So this is also from Am I the Asshole? And this one says, am I the asshole for telling my wife's affair partner about their affair? I, 37 male, have been married to my wife, 37 female, for 11 years and together for 16. We have 3 kids together, 14 male, 9 male, and 3 female. We own our house together. Our relationship has been a roller coaster, to say the least. I've been a terrible partner and companion to her for the majority of our relationship. I haven't cheated on her in more than 5 years, but in the times I have in the past, it's clear now she never healed from the hurt. For the past 6 months, she reconnected with an old guy friend after his brother passed away. Since our relationship has just been on coast with no connection, she was vulnerable and opened up to this guy. She fell in love with him and they began having a relationship. In the meantime, I was oblivious to all of this. Even though there were signs, I didn't pick up on them. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, Her contempt towards me has brewed to the point I flat out asked her, what's going on? She said she's not happy, hasn't been for months, and she wants a divorce. I asked her if there was someone else. She lied initially, but eventually broke down and admitted she's in love with this guy and they had an affair last week. Up until that point, I'm the only guy she has ever slept with, so I know how serious that actually is. I was hurt and broken. I know the guy from her family and know that he lives far away and has a wife of his own and children. In my hurt, I felt that his girlfriend had the right to know about this affair. I found a way to contact her and told her about it. She broke up with the affair partner and kicked him out. This in turn has snowballed into him not speaking to my wife. My wife, who is in love with this guy, is now not speaking to me about it. The truth has come out that the affair guy has just led my wife on and preyed on her vulnerability. He doesn't love her or want to be with her. She's heartbroken over it and blames me for telling her affair partner's wife. She won't speak to me now. Am I the asshole for telling the affair partner's wife?
This is nuts. Because I spent the first third of that letter trying to do the math. Like, okay, so he told the fair part, his wife, they were sisters. Like, I was trying to figure it out, but it made sense when you got into it. Mm-hmm. God damn, everybody sucking this one. Mm. Except for the wife of the affair partner. Mm-hmm. Like, she ain't know what the fuck was going on. But, sir, you said yourself that in the past 5 years, you've cheated on your wife. He said times with an S plural.
He said the last 5 years 5 years he hadn't. On her. No.
But the 5 years
they've been together for like 16 years.
Exactly. So, yes. So prior to those 5 years, mm-hmm. times that you were cheating on your wife, but you mad because she never, she didn't cheat back and all that time or anything else, and you admitted that you are essentially an absent husband. You didn't redeem yourself in this letter. There's no redeeming quality about you. Mm-mm. Truly and honestly, I want to find this lady and this man, and I want to put them back together because what they did? What? Mm. No, I don't want to put them back together because he was cheating on his baby mama too. So he won't shit for that. I want her to leave your stupid ass. Is what I want. Because did she do that to you when you cheated on her all of those times? No, she didn't. So I don't understand how you turn around because you decided in the last 5 years of you said 16-year relationship? I
think so, yeah.
In the last third of your relationship, all of a sudden you decided that you wanted to be faithful to this lady. And when she realized, even when he's faithful, he don't give a fuck about me. He's here doing what he thinks he's supposed to do, but he don't give a shit about me. So I'm finna go out here and get some loving because I'm not getting it at home. And he's already proven to me that he don't care about me. He cheated on me multiple times. And then even when he stayed at home, he didn't give a shit. So what is keeping me here? What is keeping me faithful? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got that. That's what some people be forgetting. I don't want to preach to y'all men because y'all be getting in y'all fucking feelings with y'all bitch asses. Okay, because y'all want to talk about somebody, but y'all real soft in them comments. Y'all really think that somebody's supposed to stick around with you through your bullshit, and when you get ready to be at home and play house, that person that you've been hurting all this time is just supposed to roll over and bend to your will because you decided to be the person that you should have been for them the entire time? Somebody not doing the math right. How is that making sense? I am glad that this lady went out there and got her shit licked from the back. I'm happy about it. Sue me. I want her to do it some more. I don't understand how she didn't divorce you immediately. As soon as you confronted her about that affair, she should have said, and I've been waiting for this. I've got these papers for you to sign right here. Like, she should have been ready, trained to go. Crumpled them papers up out of her purse, dust the hard candies off of them, and handed it to you. Sign here, here, and here. I'll see you in court about the kids. Like, he done pissed me off. Yeah. The audacity.
I know.
The gall.
I felt the same way when I read this because, okay, so for me, at the end of the day, are you the asshole for telling the affair partner? In that regard, I'm going to say no. Because I am a big believer that the person who is ultimately being hurt, which is the affair partner's wife, deserves to know the truth. They do. Because that shouldn't be happening anyways. However, or not even however, but, and also, I also believe you're an asshole for being a shit husband all these years. Just because you haven't cheated her in the last 5 years doesn't make up for all the hurt you did before. And unfortunately, like you said, you know, there's some people who don't realize that there's more to life out there than what their situation currently is. You know, like we said with the one woman who has never had an orgasm, you know, if she went out and had it, it would open up the whole world for her in a way. So this might have been that situation. This woman just thought this was going to be her life. She had to make this work. We have 3 kids together. And then because at the end of the day, her affair wasn't just, she fell in love with this man. She hasn't been with anyone but her husband. This is the only other man she's been with, and she was serious about him. This wasn't just a fling for her. She fell in love, and for that to happen, it opened her eyes that, oh, there is more to life than what I've been with this man. So regardless of how the situation ended, I do hope that she sticks to the knowledge that there is more to life than the relationship she's been in, and she doesn't have to be with this person. She doesn't have to be miserable with this person. You should not have done what you did to another person when you've lived through this experience. That's terrible, and I hate that you did that. But I do hope you are able to see that just because it didn't work out here, which, girl, I mean, it was an unfair. You really thought that was... Come on now.
Because that's where I'm sticking to. I'm like, why the fuck would you fall in love with the first other dick that you get?
Go out. Like, this is where I'm like, you need to move away from that situation and leave them the fuck alone. But you need to divorce this man.
She don't understand that she has an a la carte menu of dicks. Ma'am, you have dick du jour.
Right.
Get whatever one you want. Actually, you're at a tapas event. Okay, get you a little nibble of this one, get you a little nibble of that one, or an couscous. I'll try that one. Like, go out there and get you some. Listen.
Right. I've said that before too, because there are some people who just feel like they can't function without being in a relationship of some sort, which has always been wild to me. But like, I had a friend like that where it's like she just couldn't be single, and I remember, and she never did relationships. Like, it was never like short-term relationship. Like, they were long-term relationships. Every relationship she was in for at least a year or more. In fact, I think that was probably her shortest relationship, was maybe a year and a half, 2 years. So every guy she was with for quite a few years. You know, some of them she was with for like 6 years. But every time she would get out of the relationship, she almost immediately, she was only ever single for a few months before she was jumping back into a relationship. And I remember I used to like beg her. I'm like, please just stay single, chill out, relax.
Be by yourself.
Why is it that every time you get out of a relationship, the very next guy you start hooking up with, you end up in a relationship with this guy? And then you end up at some point, I, as your friend, can tell you're not really into this person as much as you said you were, but you just feel the need to stick it out. And you stick it out for years. I don't understand that, and I never understood that. And I learned a long time ago to stop giving her any sort of advice or anything like that, because it's one of those things where it's like the more you tell them, hey, you're not happy, I can see it. They're like, no, I'm happy. I'm fucking ecstatic. right now. This is the love of my life. Yeah, exactly. So I learned a long time ago to just leave it alone. But it was always wild to me that this person would just jump from relationship to relationship and just couldn't just be by themselves. And unfortunately, there's some people out there who just feel like they can't be. And for me, who's been by myself for so long, it's like, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, don't you want to have a partner? Sure. There are times when I want to have a partner. When I want to go traveling with somebody, I would like to have someone to be there. Or when I'm experiencing something really cool, sure, I'd like to have someone be there. But for the most part, I enjoy being by myself. People get on my nerves, okay?
Right.
And I like my alone time. But that's not to say that if the opportunity presented itself and someone came along that I wouldn't take it. I just hope that I'm always aware enough that if it's not making me happy, you know,
you got to get the hell up out of there.
You got to go. Yeah. There's no reason. There's too much life to live for us to stick around and make each other miserable. And there's too many people out in the world for it to just be us. You know, if we're miserable with each other, we're not compatible. There's so many other people out there.
Yeah. And I mean, the only thing that's different in this situation is the fact that they have kids together. Mm-hmm. And I know, and I think they said they got 3. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's exponentially more difficult to just get up and go. Yeah. In those type of situations, because, you know, for the women, is the burden is more than likely going to be on you. Yeah. Behind them kids. Building a whole new life and everything while transitioning, you know, with those kids. It's going to be much more difficult than it is for, you know, him. But you got to do what the fuck you got to do. And you know what? I do want to make the point that, you know, this isn't exclusive to women, right? Let me play devil's advocate so I don't get too much in trouble. It's not exclusive to women. It's the context of this letter is, you know, the woman was done wrong. If it was the other way around, it would be the same advice for the man. Mm-hmm. Go out there and do you, player. You're gonna have a lot more freedom than the women are, unless for some reason you're one of the rare men, you know, like all of y'all claim to be, that takes the children, you know, full custody wise. But I did want to mention that because, you know, y'all are sensitive. y'all are very sensitive.
They're the catch. They get better with age, Timmy.
They are the catch.
They age like fine wine.
They're Bucci cats. Beef.
They can still have kids later in life, and that is the whole point.
Birthing them right out that pussy. Mm-hmm. Sure do. Shout out to y'all. Well, Crystal, thank you for that. Mm-hmm. First, and I hope that y'all leave each other because y'all don't like each other. No, y'all don't like each other. Y'all don't fuck with each other. Y'all only stand together for them kids. Mm-hmm. And at this point, it's not even worth it. Y'all are playing tit for tat, being very spiteful to one another. This, like Crystal said, there's too much life to live for y'all to be sitting there miserable in each other's faces, eating cereal aggressively every morning. Okay? Sticking your goddamn spoon in the bottom of the bowl. Putting your key in the door all hard when you come home because you got to come home to this cheating bitch. And that is non-gender specific. Mm-hmm. Okay? He can be the bitch.
You got to give that sigh.
Right. Every time you turn the car off in the front yard, you got to prep yourself to come in that house and deal with that motherfucker. Anyway, thank you for that, Crystal. Mm-hmm. And thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, please be like the person that we highlighted at the beginning of the show and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Make sure that you also leave us a written review. You will get highlighted on the show. You want a shout out on the show? All you got to do is leave a review. It's that easy. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe on the YouTubes. Shout out to the YouTube community. If you... I love going over there and people be catching the shit that I say because I forget immediately. Mm-hmm. And then I have to go back in the episode and find like, when did I say that? I'm like, boy, you are so stupid. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story or anything that you find online that you think is a good topic for us to discuss on the show, we can do more celebrity nuggets. Just share with us what y'all want to hear. Please do so by leaving that in our DMs or at our email. That's teaandcrystal@gmail.com. teaandcryscal@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast, and follow us on Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Now, Crystal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
Yes, I'm still looking for recommendations for my book club. So give me titles. Also let me know what your favorite line is from this episode that T said, because I too love that. Thank you guys so much. We enjoyed this episode and we hope to see you guys next week. Indeed. Bye.
Bye, y'all.